Over.
Hi friends, my name is Carol and I'd like to welcome you all to Knitting at the Boxerville Homestead. Today is Thursday, September 28th, 2023. I am coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, so is the dryer alarm, from the Pacific Northwest. And today we have had like a wait 5 minutes, and if you don't like the weather, it's going to change. It has had a couple of really crazy downpours. The leaves are really starting to turn color, and I think it's beautiful. I don't have the heat on in the house yet, although I did build a fire in the family room, which is at the other end of the house. So in here, I am wearing a sweater. This is the Easton striped pullover by Two of Wands. And it is a knit that I think the first time ever I knit it in exactly the same yarn and colors that the designer did, which her name is Alexandra. I'll put down information here. It is starting to get a little rougher looking. I mentioned when I knit this last summer that I knit it large, and not super large, but it's big enough because I wanted it for camping, and it has been awesome for camping. I wore it quite a lot sitting out by the fire and walking in the evenings with Chance and my sidekick Sophie. Chance is actually out of picture right over here, but they're both here with me. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing. It's Hue and Me yarn. Again, all the colors that she did on the model sweater, I guess you would say, that she wore. In my cup, I have Dunkin' Donuts coffee with pumpkin pecan spice creamer. That's yummy. It's perfect on a day like this. And with it being the end of October, the end of September, and October is Sunday. 1st of October. It's amazing. I love the season. Fall is my favorite. Today you will see me with whips, some cool things, a very small addition to the vault. Well, like 4 little small things that adds up to a sweater's worth. Or was it 5? I don't remember now. Whatever. and a rescue of the podcast. I put out a little call last time, hoping that a viewer or many viewers would write in, tell me the story of their rescue pets, because I have heard quite a few of you do have rescues, cats, dogs, doesn't matter what it is, a horse. And then I'd like to just highlight it because you, to me, are angels when you do that. You truly are. And if you foster, even more so, because fostering, having been in rescue for, well, since 1989, a long time. The year we got married, so I should know, 34 years. Fostering is what saves lives. Truly it is. So let's see. You can find me on Instagram as Boxerville Homestead. You can also find me on Ravelry as Nittennurse, although I'm not very active on there. I've tried to be better about putting some more things on it again. I just absolutely quit for several years. I use it for a pattern source to purchase some patterns and also to print my patterns, sometimes to do some searches. Most of what I want to knit, I truly see from other podcasts. And email boxervillehomestead@gmail.com, which is a great place to get a hold of me if it's not something you want to post publicly, or if you have a pet that we can use as pet of the week, that would be awesome. Or if you just want to say hi. FO's 0. And I have notes here as what I'm looking off of, so I apologize. If I don't do this, I am all over the place. My train is going on all tracks at once, so I really try to do that. Anyway, let's get started. Oh gosh, that's probably going to be a really loud slurp because I am using the microphone. I remembered to do it today. Oh my gosh, if I drank out of this, I apologize. My mother would be appalled. I'm going to have one more little drink, but it's going to be quiet, and then put it down. Okay. I had a wonderful surprise from my friend Mary, from Maryzcorner, and I'll put her information up here. She's always with me. She sent me and gifted me a pattern, her Hot Toddy socks, which, look how cute those are. Aren't they darling? And she gifted it to me because you guys can probably see me better if I actually got up closer, huh? Oh well. Because I'm attempting to knit the Hot Toddy sweatshirt, hooded, Hot Toddy hoodie for John. And if you've seen the past couple of podcasts, you know the mess I got into with that. It's still in progress, but it's slow going because I'm making him try it on like every inch. Anyway, so Mary kindly gifted me this pattern, the Hot Toddy socks. She thought since I was doing the sweatshirt, pullover, whatever it's called, I can't even think what it's called right now, that I should do these as well. And I agree. I love them. I really love color work in general. And you know, I've got to thinking, I'm not a great sock knitter. I mean, I can knit them. I don't mean it great that way. I mean it in finishing them. I am a slow sock knitter. They don't hold my interest. And I think that the socks, the camping socks, Life's Better Camping, I think they're called, that I knit by Gray Owl Knits. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Gray Owl Knits. I knit those like a house on fire, but I think it was because it had color work in it, and I enjoy color work so much. So anyway, I have had time, which I never print a pattern in color, so this is how much I enjoyed this. So I print this out and I really look through the pattern, and she really writes a nice pattern, you guys. It is, I want to say 4 pages? 4 pages for a sock pattern. She gives graphs, she gives explanation. It would be a great color work for a first-time knitter, but also I think just kind of fun and cozy with the season that's coming up upon us. So, and I had hoped to actually do this podcast sooner in the week, but the garden has just really taken hold. I have been trying to can all of the things, and Although I thought about doing it yesterday, I was a hot mess from canning from like seriously starting around 3 in the morning, and it just went all day long. And I think I took the last batch out of the pressure cooker at 7:45 last night. So today was the day to do this. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at by saying that is she is offering both, she has 2 patterns that she has listed, and I'll leave the information, and she's offering them both at 25% off, which her patterns are a steal anyway. It's a great deal. She has a beautiful shawl that I've seen some people, I went in and really did some looking. Some people used it as a wrap, some made it like a shawl. It has an option to put like a buttonhole on it that you can button it. One of the pictures I saw had it, I'll put a picture in of it. I'll take this down and I'll put a picture of it right here. But she also had one of a pug that was wrapped in it, and another person that had made a poncho out of it. And I thought, that's a great idea. And I do like a poncho more than a shawl, I think. I do shawls, and I have some shawls, but I also have some ponchos, and I think I wear them more. Anyway, again, I'll put her information up. I'll put a link down below, where it says more. Just hit the more. It drops down for more. Get it? Anyway, her name also on Instagram is, well, I'll put the information in. It's Mary, and the last name, you know what, Mary, I don't know how to say your last name. It's like a lot of people probably don't know how to say mine when you look at it. That's why I kept my maiden name in with it, to make something look easy with the way. Did I say my name's Carol? Lord, I probably didn't, but I'll be able to tell when I go through it backwards. But anyway, thanks again, Mary, for the pattern. I'm tickled to get them going, and I'll put the information below. And I think, like I said, today's the 28th. There's a couple more days you can get in on the 25% off on her patterns. So let's see. Also, something, I don't remember if I read it on Mary's Instagram page or where I saw it. It was from her, though. No, it may have even been on, this is a Thursday as well, and it seems like I always have something going on Thursday. And she joins in on a Insta night, which if I can find it, I'll also put the Instagram hashtag. I think it's just hashtag Insta Knit Night. That's what it is. Hashtag Insta Knit Night. And it's, you can go to Instagram, put hashtag Insta Knit Night. Say it again, Carol, right? And they tag what they're doing, what they're knitting on that night, what they're drinking. Mine would be wine. Just saying. Yeah, anyway, it kind of looks like fun, and I always think I'm going to do it. But it's always seems like it's dinner time, John comes home, or I'm at work. Mostly it's on Thursdays, John comes home, and so I'm anxious to be with him and catch up with the day. I still kind of like him, and I really enjoy just, having the evening. I'm kind of selfish that way. So Mary, back to what she had said on somewhere, gosh, Mary, I'm just working you, aren't I? Somewhere, I'm acknowledging 3 whips. So that's what I'm going to do today, is I am going to acknowledge 3 whips. So it's actually maybe 4 I'll show, but I'm going to acknowledge 3 of them because I liked that. I thought it was funny. You guys are probably tired of the Fred Flintstone socks, but I am literally finally at a place to do the toes on both of them. Like I said, my husband has a size 12.5 double E foot that I nicknamed Fred Flintstone feet years ago because they're huge, wide and long. Anyways, I am knitting it out of the same stuff that I have mentioned so many times, and I cannot remember the name of it now. If I really think about it, I'll put it down below, and I may not, but it is in show notes from past episodes, like when I first started them. I did get the wool at Tolt Yarn and Wool in Carnation, Washington. It still smells so sheepy. I love it. I'd actually like to have a sweater out of this just so that every time I pulled it over my head, I could smell it. Oh, it's awesome. Oof, it's perfect. So anyway, they're done. The heels I mentioned because John always wears his thin there that I combined it with mohair. I didn't tell him. He doesn't need to know. I want to see if he fusses about it itching his feet because he's a princess about everything. If anything's going to bug anybody in the house or ever, it's going to be John. So we'll see. Wool doesn't bother him. So we'll see if that does or not. I anticipate they had better be done this next time I film. And I really want to start getting on a weekly podcast so that they're not so long. I can come in 20 minutes and give a quick rundown. I'm just not, for two things. One, I have a busy life. And the second is I'm not a crazy fast knitter. But I love it. And I've enjoyed this, and I really love our interactions. So that is the first whip. The second, I'm just going to get just really quick because the only thing I have on my Arboreal Sweater by Jennifer Steingass, knit in Juniper Moon Farms, organic merino, cinnamon, and ivory. The only thing I have is I've lengthened the body. I know last time I spoke about I thought I would get the sleeves done. Not done, but pardon Sophie. The sleeves done, but the she's distracted me. Sorry about that. It's a boxer thing. I've knit further on the body, so the body's longer. I don't know why I just kept going on that, but I did. So I do need to connect for the sleeves, and I do know why I did not connect for the sleeves, which is my next whip, because I got distracted with that in wanting to work on it, and shiny and what happens, even though I love this and I love the color and I can't wait to wear it. And it's October on Sunday, so I need to get busy on this one and put this other one down. This is knit on size, I want to say 5, is it? The Chai-Gu, holy balls, is it hard to see? Yeah, it's a US 5. And a US 5 is a 3.75 millimeter needle. So I have my needles in both sleeves because I am a 2 at a timer. As I have mentioned before, I get second sleeve syndrome really bad, like second socks. So I always knit them 2 at a time as well. I dropped a stitch right there. I should have stitch things in the ends of these, but that would require me to be a little bit more organized than I am. I kind of just, roll with the force. Anyway, love it. Loved doing the color work again. Color work will get me every time. And I need to get going on it because now that I look at it and I look at the fall looking outside and stuff, I want to wear it. Great pattern, really well written. It's only 2 strands that you're working with. As far as a first-time color work pattern, I didn't find it difficult at all. Her patterns are super well written. And yeah, I think it would actually, other than the short rows, the short rows are probably harder than the color work in this. And I don't mean harder, but maybe a little bit more advanced than a beginner. So maybe an advanced beginner. How's that? Anyway, I love it. Still super tickled with it. And the last, it's not really the last whip. I'm going to show you another one. This is, I can't even believe I'm doing this too, because you guys, if you've been around, the trouble that I had with my Felix pullover and how many, I could wax poetic on it for all day long. And you guys know, because if you went along with me, it was a problem. What did I do? I turned around and I bought the Felix cardigan pattern because I was watching, again, for some reason, this Amber from A Lovely Yarn, and she showed this yarn that she had bought at Hobby Lobby. It is called Yarn Bee from Hobby Lobby, and that actually shows the color pretty darn good. I'm surprised. Oh, and then it kind of changed a little bit. Let's do that again. Ooh, right about there. It's called Barnwood Fence. And does that not look like a barnwood fence with lichen on it? So she did it in a gold color. And I want to say it was something ochre, but I don't remember. But it was that mustardy, goldy, kind of like on that sunflower color right there. Not the orange part, just the gold. And I loved it. So I went to look at it, and they didn't have enough colors in the same dye lot. But then I saw this, and I really like green, and I like green on me, especially if it lends more towards the olive color. I like green, and I'm probably hitting the microphone, you guys. I'm so sorry. So I started it, and in true Carol and Felix cardigan fashion, I did have to rip back just a few rows. I somehow got it. Can you believe it? Messed up a little bit, but I'm on track now. So I am knitting this. I believe the pattern calls for knitting it in a size, I should look at my notes because I would know all of this, in a size 10. I didn't like the fabric. I swatched again. Who am I? But I didn't really care for the fabric that it was making. So I swatched in a 9 and actually got gauge. And I like the fabric better. So I'm using a US 9, a 5.5 millimeter. And I should have looked back to see what I knit the pullover in, and just kind of in my head, I think I did a 9 on that as well. So I'm not very far because you have to purl in this, and it's a lot of purling from the underarm down. I think I need 10 inches, and that's probably not quite 5 inches, maybe, right? Yeah. So I have a ways to go. And if I run out of this one and I still have a ways to go, this ball of yarn, then I'm just going to start in on the sleeves. But isn't the design, I just think it really is, it's really pretty. And I'm anxious to, it's all balled up and bunched up, but you guys have seen this before. Ooh, right there. That's the color right there. I like it. And like I said, it's a color that I like on myself and I wear often. So not much to see yet. You have to pick up the collar afterwards and the button band and all that. And that's the thing I don't like about a cardigan, you guys. A pullover is just so much. And this is all rolly, so it looks like it's bunched in and would fit a toddler, but it's should fit just fine. So that's what's kind of taken my attention away from my arboreal, but looking at it now, I need to get back to that arboreal because I really want to wear that. Okay, let's check the notes. That's it for whips. No, you know what? Just a real quick, because you guys know that I have kind of got into the crochet a little bit because my friend Joe, who I could go right into the cool things with that, because between this and that, so I have this yarny friend across the pond, and she also has a podcast, and it's Crochet Knit Love Jo, and she is an amazing crocheter. Oh my gosh, she whips a blanket out in 5 minutes, it seems, and I am not that fast, but I am working on this. I won't open it up all the way, but so I'm working from the inside out. So because I wanted the white in the middle, I didn't want it on the edge. So I'm on the gray, then it goes like a lighter gray, and then kind of a taupey, and then a light color beige, I guess you would say. So it's just a granny square, and it was mostly for me so that I could practice the granny square stitch more and get quicker at it. It's not an exciting thing at all, blanket, but it's giving me practice. And this is a H or a 5mm hook that I'm using. I probably could have went down a little bit more and not had quite of an open pattern, but I still like it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. If with some friends down the neighbors, I guess they're not really friends. It's not anything we do anything with other than wave or say hello. And, we're going to be gone for a week or two. Can you watch out, Um, anyway, they just had a new baby and I may give it to them. They just had a little guy. They had 2 little girls and then they finally got a little boy. So I may give it to them. I'm not really sure. We'll see what it looks like when I'm done with it. I was talking to Jo and she had just put up in one of her shorts, or she may have even talked to it about it in her last podcast. And she did a picot edge on a blanket she just finished. Again, lickety split. And I might do that. I might try that on here to do a little picot, because again, I'm a knitter and that's my first love, and I think what I'm better at, although that's up for discussion too, especially when I knit like this Felix. Anyway, I'm going to try a little different edge on it. So that's kind of a whip. But going into it, talking about Jo, she and I are going to try and do a combined podcast. Of course, the biggest thing is the fact that we are 8 hours difference apart. Like right now, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, so it's 10:30 at night for her. But I'm a super early riser, and having worked, I do whatever shifts around the clock. Being up at night is not a big deal to me. So we are trying to get the logistics of that down, trying to figure out how to do that, and both of us be able to tape it and both of us be able to put it on each of our podcasts. So that's kind of a cool thing coming up. And other cool things, Woollyworms. Okay, I was watching a Fruitful Hands podcast with Diana and Katie, and I'm sure everybody has seen that. If not, I will try and remember to link it. They are adorable. Mother-daughter knitters, beautiful knitters, very prolific. Just, you can tell, just good salt of the earth people. Just great ladies that you'd want to have for neighbors and knitting partners. Anyway, they had talked about doing a ranunculus knit along, and I started talking about the Woollyworms, didn't I? I'm getting into the ranunculus part of it. But Woollyworms, on the last podcast, Diana was talking about Woollyworms, and I grew up with parents and a grandfather that watched those Woollyworms, and I'm going to put a picture of them here. I think they're also called an Isabella. What are they called? Isabella tiger moth. And you watch those. I haven't seen one yet. If anybody has seen one, will you comment about it? Where you saw it, where, in what part of the world that you've seen one already, and what the black and the rust and the brown or black again looked like. Because supposedly, and I was raised up, that you can tell how severe of a winter you're going to have. And according to some of the people around and the old Farmer's Almanac now, it's going to be a pretty severe winter. And where we live here, we can get a lot of snow. The year that we actually moved into this house, we had over 4.5 feet of snow, which was a nightmare. We couldn't get down our road. We had to hike in from the back through some other people's property until my husband was able to get the road clear. We lost power for 7 days. It was awful. We are very blessed. Our home is wired for generators, so that was, what a huge blessing. We were able to keep our freezers. It just was, as you can imagine. So, along with talking about Diana and Katie and the Fruitful Hand podcast, they were talking about doing a ranunculus knit along. And Amber of A Lovely Yarn heard about them talking about it on their podcast as well, and she offered to throw her hat in as well for doing the knit along. And I will figure out what the hashtag is for it. I believe it's already started, and I think it goes to towards the end of November. It might even be to United States Thanksgiving. I'll get that information too and put it up there. And who doesn't need another ranunculus? I have already knit 3 of them, I think. So I'm going to knit another one. I'm kind of looking in my stash now to see what I have. I have a color in mind that I really want a light colored linen-y color. Not necessarily white, but not necessarily a cream, somewhere in between. Any suggestions? That'd be awesome. Comment, send me an email, direct message me on Instagram if you have any suggestions. I'm kind of hitting the wall, and I have been looking. And one of the places, another cool thing, and maybe, there's a lot of you that know about it, but my friend Becky told me about this. It's called, did I write it down? I hope I did. Yes, Wool and Company. And I will link it in the show notes. And they have a lot of different brands of yarn. And the cool thing about them is shipping is always free. Even if you order 1 skein of yarn or 1 ball of yarn, the shipping is always free. How cool is that? So I think everybody should, I just think that's, shipping's expensive, postage is expensive. It's crazy. Why, and maybe it has to be that way now because of modern technology. People email and do so much that there isn't as much money going through. I don't know, but cost of living as well. I wanted to show you, in speaking of my friend Becky, she sent me this, and I know she got it on Amazon, and if anybody is interested, I will find out what it is. It was a gift, and I didn't want to say, I probably could look it up, find it. It's not particularly meant for knitting needles, but that's what she and I use it for now. And I love this. I suppose I could put labels on, but I pretty much know my needles by color, especially the ones that I use all the time. And it just has these nice little zip pouches, and I just have them in here according to size, going small up into my large ones. And I love it. I mean, it's just really so handy. So the large, these are the 10s, 10 and a half, and I think I have an 11 in there as well. But it's super slick. You can add on more of these, although mine is pretty full at this, going from 0 to 10. Plus I have just a couple of other little tools and some crochet hooks in the first one. Then it has the a snap on it. And so, whoops, there's some trying to sneak out. A little snap on it so you can keep it together. It's easy to take then with me when I can just throw it in the camper. Well, it goes in my big knitting bag, but into the fifth wheel when we're headed out camping, and it keeps them organized. And I found that I put my stuff away this way. For some reason, I will go and I'll put my needles away so they're not all over the place. So it's kind of a cool little thing. It's pleather, and I just really like it. So I wanted you guys to see it. Might be something handy for somebody out there. Be a nice little gift too. And I think that is all today that I wanted to show. I have some other things written down, but I am going to hold off on those. because I think I've given quite a bit. And the last time I mentioned about if anyone had a rescued, doesn't have to be a dog, cat, horse, whatever. And I got a really nice email from a viewer named Patty. And Patty wrote, I watched your podcast and really loved it. I'm in Texas. About 13 months ago, my husband saw a little movement in a culvert in a pipe out in the country and went back to investigate. A tiny little dog was in that pipe, covered in fleas, ticks, etc. And the long story short is she, who they named Lily Beth, is a big part of our family now. The vet thinks that she was 5 to 6 weeks old at the time, but little did we know how she would grow. I have attached a then and a now picture. God works in mysterious ways to bless you when you did not realize it at the time. And boy, is that not the truth. So hopefully by now I have put up Lily Beth's before and after. Look at those eyes. Oh my gosh. Could you not just, sorry if I hit the microphone. People, spay and neuter pets, but bless this little one's heart and this couple for bringing Lily Beth into their lives. I just love a story like this. It just warms my heart and my soul. And I know there's a reason that they found this little person. It's not well, to us, they kind of are. This little dog. And it's perfect because the Feast of St. Francis is coming up. And I don't know, I think a lot of we're Catholic. And so, but I think there's quite a few different churches that do the blessing of the animals. And so with his feast day coming, you might look around and find we have priests, minister. I'm sorry, I'm really bad about that. A minister, a pastor that also does blessing of animals during this time. It's just kind of a nice thing to do. And I think with that, Chance never did come over. Sophie's just over here. Oh, there she is. Isn't that just something? She is so precious. So I will leave you, as always, with please, if you're looking for a new little family member to come into your home with 4 legs or sometimes even a tripod, I do hope that you would consider to adopt and not shop, because the life you save may be your very best friend. Happy knitting, everyone. Happy crocheting or sewing, spinning, whatever you do. And I look forward to seeing you soon. I am going to leave you with a few pictures of, some of the things I've been doing here, preserving. I don't think I took any of the garden this time. I didn't put in a bunch about the last trip when we were at the coast for the rod run to the end of the world. We're into classic cars. And so I may put some of that in, of us being down at the coast at the beach. The weather was amazing. And for those of you that are not interested, thanks for joining us. And for those of you that are kind of interested in a peek into what we do here at Boxerville and when we are traveling in the fifth wheel, here's some more for you. Take care.